Anaele. I'm the Executive Director, Chen Education and Development Empowerment, a non-for-profit committed to transforming lives through humanitarian aid intervention, digital transformation, empowerment, and social impact advocacy. So in my role, I get to oversee the vision for the organization, partnerships, resource mobilization, and that's it. Frankly, it was born out of empathy. I have people living with one disability or another in my family, and also I've met quite a number of Nigerians that have one form of disability or the other, and so we took up the initiative to figure out what is the lasting or best solution to this situation, because over time we have studied and seen that some of the support that some of them have received, especially those living in underserved communities, some of them have received wheelchairs, crutches and all that, but over time when they're in desperate financial need, they get to sell those wheelchairs and crutches. So we were looking for something lasting and something more tailored to them. So that's where the vision or the idea for the prosthetics was born. And then we started in our own little way. We started catering for a few numbers of people. And yeah, that's how we began. Okay, we reached out to Federal Inland Revenue Services with a detailed proposal of our initiative, and also detailing how such projects could have a tremendous impact on the recipients. So they saw our vision, they understood it, and they chose to support by giving this set of Nigerians their legs back. As we started out this project in badges, so we had the first badge, which is the first phase, let's call it phase one. Phase one was when we started reaching out to people and started compiling list of amputees or people living with this tailored disability. And then with Nisa Garki Hospital support, we invited them for that phase one for the screening exercises, which covered general screening of their health, the molding of the prosthetic. First, after the general screening, to know if they qualify, and also checking their stumps to know if their stumps were healthy enough to receive prosthetics. So after that, their stumps were molded, and that was phase one. Then phase two, we had the same number of people, inviting them back to Abuja again for the training exercise. First, we had to fit the same prosthetic. Remember, it was molded, so we had to make sure that it fit the stump. And when it was achieved, we had over several number of days. They went through training, how to walk, their balance, and then also a bit of their mental health lecturing, and also how to take care of the prosthetics eventually. So in all, we received or we've catered for about 120 something, 123 recipients. It's been amazing, really. It's been very impactful. Most of them, the ones I had, personal encounter with, that, we shared some personal moments together. We had a particular amputee coming from Kano who refused to go to school after waking up and seeing that his leg was amputated because of the accident. He's now ready to go back to school. His mother called us and was so happy and told us that he's ready to go back to school. We have some business women, traders, who have been actually, looking for a way to return back to their petty businesses, and they're excited to go back. Then we have young people, those that were formerly employees before this tragic incident happened. They're excited, they are going back to their business. So it's been quite a various kind of testimony coming from our recipients. Our partnership, I would say, was an exceptional one. When we reached out to Nisa Garki Hospital, we really didn't know how that relationship was going to go, but eventually it became like a compassionate one for us and the team at Nisa Garki Hospital. The orthopedic team, led by Dr. Itio Kenneth, they were so detailed, they were very empathic, and they were very focused on their work. So at the end of the day, I would say it was quite a compassionate one for both parties. Some of the challenges we faced were one, logistics, having to transport these people from their various locations in Nigeria. Remember, these people are coming from the various geopolitical zones, and having to bring them back to Abuja, even getting to reach them, because some of them are living in communities that, to get across to them were issues and all that. Having to transport them back to Abuja and having to communicate with them again, that's the language barrier, was also an issue. And also having to deal with the various beneficiaries, especially the diabetic ones, having to cater for them while training them in the course was also a bit quite challenging for us. But in all, we were able to get through these challenges by having to get interpreters to work with us, and also having to have doctors in our teams who will cater specifically for those DM foot diabetic patients. From the start of the project, especially in our phase 1, which was carried out in the Nisa Garki Hospital facility, we had doctors who catered for their mental health, and we had amputees who had already received prosthetics come, talk to them, to encourage them, sharing their own experiences. And overall, when we were now starting the second phase of the project, we find out that some of them that came, some of them were shy, some of them couldn't, interact with people, some were very shy to even let us see their stomach. But after that process, especially in the phase 1, talking to them, having the doctors cater for their mental health, and having those that have had similar experiences who are now using prosthetics share their experiences. On returning back on the phase 2, they came back more confident and happier, especially upon seeing their prosthetics. Yes, I'm still going to go back to the Kano incident. The particular young, I think he's about the youngest boy that came for this project from Kano. When I reached out to the mother, I never even knew how old he was. I just called and they picked up the phone and like, okay, they are going to come. And when they came, he was so shy, he didn't even want to talk to anybody, and he kept to himself and all that. So upon having a little chat with the mother, she explained to me how him waking up, seeing that he was amputated, affected him and all that. And after that scenario, he actually refused to go back to school. He refused to see his friends. Even when his friends came to want to, see him, he would keep telling his parents he doesn't want to see anybody and all that. But in the second phase, after the first phase was done and his mode was taken, and he was invited again for the second phase, and upon seeing his prosthetics, just sighting his prosthetics, I could see that he was a bit, smiling a bit. Then when they eventually fit the prosthetic and he stood on a barrel, one of the barrels that we had for the training, he was just smiling. And I noticed, I'm like, oh, so you could smile. And his mother was I could see how emotional his mom was. Then his mom came to me and like, he's now willing to go back to school. Will you go back to school after this experience? He said yes, that he's not willing to go back to school. So that was one of the emotional moments for me. I would encourage them to please do. there are thousands, if not millions, waiting for their life to be transformed this way. There are a lot of our young people that, if only they could have this opportunity, they would be able to contribute meaningfully to the society. They are eagerly waiting for one help or the other, because we've had very skilled young people that came through to this exercise, and they are going back to their skills. Some of them have promised so many that, I'm going to send you, I'm going to show you some of my work. Now I have the opportunity to go back. So I'm encouraging people, please come and support. Let your CSR, whatever CSR you have, let it be one of your plans or budget for your CSR, because one of the things that count most in all of the, when it comes to organizations supporting one project or the other, is having to contribute to giving people their dignity back. So I think it's a wonderful project or initiative that I would encourage these people to think of contributing or supporting. Okay, for our next is we are looking at phase 2 of this project. We want to go even beyond providing prosthetics to creating more like a center where amputees or people living with such disability could come. They will be assessed. They will seek support for them. They will receive the support, and then they can go back. So it will be like, see, this particular initiative, we started it, but we didn't know where or how the journey would be. But now, with Federal Inland Revenue Services support that has scaled this project to this maximum capacity, we are looking at making it a permanent initiative, and CEDE being that one-stop place where they can come, show their, either their below knee amputee or above knee or upper limb, whatever it is. They are well assessed. They prepare them ahead, so that if we are reaching out for any support, we already have their database, so it will be a permanent one. But beyond even this whole activity, we also want Nigeria as a nation to be seen or to be recognized as a beacon for inclusive rehabilitation, if not just for Nigeria alone, but for across Africa. It's been a long journey to this point. We started this from the beginning of the year 2025, and everyone involved in this initiative, especially CEDE Transforming Lives Processing Progress initiative, have one way or the other given their best, from our orthotists to our orthopedic doctors, to the teams, to our partners, to the support, our partner sponsors, even my own team and our board. They are not, you don't get to see them physically, but they are there at the background, making sure that this project or this initiative was a success. So I just want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for all the work. Thank you for the emotional times where we had to cry, the times where we had to just man up and look strong in front of these people, because we practically had moments where we broke down, but we had to just man up and look bold or strong for these people so that they can be strong. And then to the recipients or beneficiaries, thank you for going all the way, coming for the first phase and also coming for the second phase. Thank you for the enthusiasm. Thank you for the commitment to be better, to take your health better, and make sure that you always, go see doctor to check your health. I also want to thank our sponsors, Federal Inland Revenue Services. You have taken this little Chen education and development empowerment project to now a nationwide capacity. We couldn't have done it without you. So I just want to thank, on behalf of my team and everybody that was in this project, I just want to say thank you so much, Federal Inland Revenue Services. and you'll be empowered to do more in the future.